NBC is reporting that you were once a recipient of a fellowship for immigrants and children of immigrants from the Soros Foundation. You were awarded the fellowship in 2011 to support your studies at Yale Law School. And the issue is that you, the child of Indian immigrants, are now accusing some immigrants of carrying out an invasion of the United States. And that as president, you would make it more difficult for children of immigrants born here to participate in the political process. The floor is yours to explain how you enjoyed from it, that you, Sharpton convinced you could run for president, Soros helped you through college. Explain all of this.
Come on. So you know what's really...
Look at his face. Explain all this. I got you now. That's his face. Look at Al Sharpton's face. I got you now, buddy. I got you now.
Kind of funny about this, that you draw a distinction between legal and illegal immigrants like it doesn't exist. And I think that's a major problem in this country.
Legal and illegal is a big difference. You're not just coming over here at will and you're just invading the United States. It's a big difference.
I think that we need to use our own military to secure our own southern border, not an armed invasion across somebody else's random border, but across our own border right here in the United States of America. I stand for that. I believe in the rule of law. My parents came to this country legally through the front door, followed the rules, paid their taxes, raised 2 kids. Both of us went on to found companies that helped thousands of Americans. But that also means that your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That's part of what it means to be an American. We believe in the rule of law. So, yes, I want to end funding for sanctuary cities, end foreign aid to Mexico and other countries.
You have no problem
illegal immigration,
with helping,
I am a hardliner on. Absolutely.
You have no problem with helping those immigrants that come here and follow the law and become citizens.
I want to help every legal citizen of this country. That's what America First means, putting every American first. And you see how I run this campaign? It's very different. I've gone to the south side of Chicago, to Kensington, in the middle of Philadelphia.
Right.
I haven't called Zelensky, but I have called people in West Maui. America First means every American.
All right, let me
but
ask
that
you
means
this.
you have to come to this country legally, not illegally.
Let me ask you this. You say we run the country with a nation of laws and that we ought to follow the laws. Then how can you and your colleagues stand on a debate stage and say that you would endorse and support for president a man if he was convicted of breaking the law and a felony in Donald Trump? How can you say, I will put a convict back in the White House, and you say that I'm
the way our
supporting
Constitution
the law?
and laws of this country work? First of all, I'm running to be the next president, and I expect to be the next president because I want to reunite this country in a way that we badly need. But I have made a pledge to be on that debate stage, and I intend to keep it because I think the way we do things in the United States of America is that the people of this country get to decide who governs, not the administrative police state. So for better or worse, if it's a guy I disagree with or a guy I agree with, in this case, Donald Trump, I do agree with most of his policies.
But the question posed to you all
you got to follow the Constitution. You have to follow the Constitution.
Crime. It's clear.
So the
if he's
Constitution does not eliminate you.
Conduct, he's eliminated. Let me then put it to you this way.
The Constitution governs. I believe in the Constitution, and the Constitution says we have a process for picking presidents in this country. I think we should follow it. I expect to follow it. I expect to be the next president. But even if it's not me, I will support anyone who follows that process.
If you became president, would you pardon Donald Trump for any of the crimes that he's been indicted for, or if he's convicted?
Yes, I will. I'm going to answer that. Yes, I will, because it's a bunch of BS. The crimes that you're bringing up towards Donald Trump is a bunch of BS. I don't know what he's going to say, but I think he's going to say yes.
On the current facts that we have, he is one of many people that I have identified as someone I would pardon, because I do not think that this sets a good precedent for our country, where a party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents in the middle of an election. There are Democrats on that list.
Wait a minute. You've got 19 people indicted. They're not running all of them. But even before you've heard the evidence, before the trials, you're saying that you would prejudge what is going to come out. And
Shut up, Al Sharpton. Not you're like reaching. You're reaching. You trying to get that aha moment. He said yes, based off what he sees now, he will pardon. I don't, even if he's convicted, okay, I don't need to see the evidence. He was convicted. I will pardon him because it's not good for the country. He's that's what he's saying. So why are you reaching for this aha moment? And just because you said he did a crime, we all know that Joe Biden is using his political power to prosecute or persecute Donald Trump. We all know that. Let's say the Democrats. The Democrats are using their political power to persecute Donald Trump, and it's unconstitutional.
Try and commit to pardoning them.
That's not
yet
correct.
You claim
that's not correct. I've actually been very clear on this, Reverend. Assuming that the prosecution's statement of the facts in the indictment is the worst version of the facts, then yes, I would. So I waited till I read the indictments cover to cover. In 99% of prosecutions, you and any lawyer will also know this. That's the worst statement of the facts you're going to get for the defense.
But it's not all that's going to come out of trial. You and I know that. That's not all that's going to come out of trial. So what I said is assuming, well, I was very clear at the time. I said, I've read the indictment, and assuming these are the worst facts, then yes, on these facts, I will pardon Trump. Just as, by the way, I've said I would pardon Julian Assange, who, by my best guess, has very different politics than I do. Because, again, we applied a different standard to Julian Assange. Because when you talk about the law, you've also said that, I remember there was the big argument about you saying that people having the right to guns had something to do with slavery. When the Second Amendment was in 1791, slavery didn't end until 1865. I mean, you're very, very...
Well, I can actually share with you something about this. Chief Justice Taney, and you and I probably have some common ground here. In the Dred Scott case, which said that black people could not be citizens in the U.S., shamefully, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court gave his argument for why. He said it would allow black people to own guns in this country. That is shameful. Yes, it is part of our history. But just because some people may be for gun control today, we can't sweep that under the rug.
They didn't do the Second Amendment to help. Blacks couldn't get guns and fight. There were no, they were not fighting to give blacks guns. And when Taney said that, clearly,
so literally, that was the justification in the Dred Scott case for why black people couldn't be citizens.
Dred Scott
and the first
decision was not in
laws
1791, by the way. But one last thing.
It was before the Civil War, as you well know. And I think that we should confront our history and have an open and honest debate about it. That's what makes us stronger as a country.
Until the 13th Amendment, we couldn't vote
our history and confront it.
Let me ask you one last question. We're out of time.
And that's how we unite this country.
One thing we have in common with Trump is you've been criticized for trafficking in conspiracy theories. So here goes, do you believe, let me ask you this, because you and Trump have both been accused of trafficking conspiracy theories. Do you believe Barack Obama was born in the United States, and do you think it was appropriate for Trump to suggest to otherwise, even as evidence mounted, that the claim was a lie?
I think I have every reason to believe Obama was born in the U.S., and I have never brought up that issue, and I have no idea why we're actually discussing that. But what I have talked about is, for example, Saudi Arabia was absolutely involved in 9/11, despite the fact that our government refused to acknowledge it. That COVID-19 did originate in a lab in China, despite the fact that our government called that a conspiracy theory. That we still haven't seen the transgender shooter manifesto out of Nashville. So those aren't conspiracy theories. Those are conspiracy.
Are you guys seeing what he's doing for his constituents? The people that's watching this, of course, they're super liberal, okay? So they're watching Al Sharpton. Anything, and more likely 99.9% people that's watching this show loves Obama. I've been listening to Vivek since he's been running. He's never mentioned Obama that I've known. So I don't know why he's trying to say anything about Obama, but he's trying to get that aha moment. Look, he's saying bad stuff about Obama. So we could just, we don't want you voting for him at all, because Vivek Ramaswamy is very persuasive. He could get some people from the left voting for him. A lot of younger people are starting to pay attention to Vivek. So that's why he's bringing up Obama, because Obama is like the, what is it, the golden child of the United States, even though he hasn't did anything for Black people, even though he was the American president. Let's say he was the president for everybody, but has he really enacted any laws that benefited any Black people? No, he hasn't. So, but that's Americans, the liberals' golden child, Obama. I called him the Manchurian candidate. I don't know how true that is. That might be Joe Biden now, but Barack Obama, if you say anything bad about Barack, you're off the list. So that's what he's trying to get, that aha moment again.
Realities.
Saying
That's what matters.
Barack Obama was born in Kenya. He's a man that you said was the best president this century. Should he have continued trafficking the Kenya lie about Barack Obama?
Look, I will say, as a presidential candidate before he ran for president, I think he made absolutely the right decision to say that that was a ridiculous theory. Barack Obama was born in the United States. And frankly, I don't think we should dignify the things that aren't true versus talking about the hard things that were labeled conspiracy theories, but that are true now. So I actually believe in truth over theory. I'm tied to facts.
All right. Well, you certainly came, and you knew I was going to fight it out with you, and you stood up. Did about 3 or 4 ducks, threw a couple. We'll do this again. Thank you, 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy.
Al Sharpton needs to quit. He needs to quit. Al Sharpton act like he owned this interview. No, you didn't. You didn't let the man talk, number one. It's like you asking him a question. You're not intellectually sound to get where he's going with the answer. So you're saying he's not answering the question, but I think he did very well on this interview. Too bad for Al Sharpton. He was trying to get a high moment with Vivek, and he wasn't able to. So that interview, like, it wasn't as frustrating as when Vivek was on the Breakfast Club. But Al Sharpton, he is a race baiter. We know what his game plan is. So it wasn't surprising.